Olaudah Equiano, also known as Gustavus Vassa. Legacy: father of black literature, voice of the enslaved, early African abolitionist, bestseller who shook the world. Birth and early life. Olaudah Equiano was born in 1745 in what is now Igbo land, southeastern Nigeria. He was born into a loving, respected family. His father was a village elder, and Equiano grew up surrounded by Igbo culture and spirituality, community rituals, music, farming, and storytelling, a strong sense of honor, bravery, and family bonds. He lived a peaceful childhood until his life was violently changed forever. Kidnapped at age 11. The trauma begins. When he was about 11 years old, he and his sister were kidnapped by African slave raiders. He remembers being tied up, forced marches, being sold from village to village. Separation from his sister, a devastating moment he never forgot. Eventually, he was delivered to the Atlantic coast, where he saw the ocean for the first time, and the terrifying slave ships. The Middle Passage. One of the most nerve-wracking parts of his story. Equiano's description of the Middle Passage is one of the most terrifying, heartbreaking, and historically important accounts ever written. He saw hundreds of enslaved Africans chained together. Rotting bodies, sickness, and screaming. People dying from starvation and fear. Unimaginable cruelty. He described the ship as a world of horror, and thought the white men were bad spirits. His survival was nothing short of a miracle. Life in slavery in the Americas. Equiano was sold multiple times. His first owner renamed him Gustavus Vassa, a European name he was forced to accept. He worked on ships in the Caribbean plantation world, in Virginia, in England aboard naval vessels. During this time he learned English quickly, became skilled in navigation and seamanship, developed deep Christian beliefs. Despite brutality around him, he used education as his path to freedom. Path to freedom. Buying his own liberty, 1766. Equiano worked incredibly hard for years on ships and trading small goods. Finally, in 1766, he saved £40, a huge amount at that time, and bought his freedom. He became one of the very first Africans in the slave trade era to buy his own liberty and later told his story to inspire millions. A free black man traveling the world. After gaining freedom, he traveled widely. England, Italy, Turkey, Central America, North America, the Arctic. He joined a famous expedition. He became a sailor, a merchant, a Christian speaker, a writer, an abolitionist thinker. People in Europe became shocked by his intelligence and education, destroying racist stereotypes. The autobiography that shook the world. In 1789, Equiano published his life story, titled The Interesting Narrative of the Life of Olaudah Equiano. This book was revolutionary. Why it became a global sensation. First major book written by a formerly enslaved African. Exposed the horrors of the slave trade. Sold thousands of copies in Britain and America. Reprinted many times during his life. Helped start the worldwide abolition movement. His book made him rich, famous, respected, and feared by slave traders. He became one of the most influential black authors in history. Equiano the Abolitionist, 1780s-1790s. Equiano dedicated his life to ending slavery. He delivered speeches across Britain. Worked with the Anti-Slavery Society. Wrote letters to kings, queens, politicians. Met leading abolitionists. Exposed torture, murder, and cruelty. Argued that Africans were fully human, intelligent, and equal. His voice was one of the strongest moral forces pushing the British Empire toward ending the slave trade, which finally happened in 1807, 10 years after his death. Personal life. In 1792, Equiano married Susanna Cullen, a white English woman. They had two daughters, Anna Maria and Joanna. This interracial marriage was extremely rare at the time, a symbol of equality and his belief in universal humanity. Death 1797. Olaudah Equiano died in March 1797 in London. He died a free man, respected, admired, wealthy, and one of the most important black voices of the 18th century. His greatest contributions to the world. 1. His book helped end the slave trade. His narrative gave Europeans the first inside look at the horrors of slavery. It changed public opinion and human conscience. 2. First major African autobiography in English. He pioneered black literature. Without him, later authors like Frederick Douglass or W.E.B. Du Bois might never have gained recognition. 3. One of the early leaders of the global human rights movement. Equiano fought for the rights of Africans, freedom and equality, justice for the oppressed, humanity and dignity for all people. 4. Destroyed racism. He proved that an African man could be educated, wise, articulate, courageous, spiritual, morally superior to slave owners. 5. A symbol of African resilience. His life became a symbol of strength, hope, intelligence, transformation, victory over suffering. Today he is honored in Africa, Europe, the Americas, and the Caribbean. The legacy of Olaudah Equiano. He was a kidnapped child, a survivor of the Middle Passage, a slave, a self-freed man, a world traveler, a best-selling author, a human rights champion, a key voice that helped end the slave trade. His life shows the power of the human spirit, the strength of African identity, and the impact one person can have on the world.